Okay. This is a mic check. I don't know if anyone's online, but if anyone is listening, let me know if you can hear me. Sweet. Thanks for confirming that. Well, I think I've figured this out, so I'm going to get started. Thanks for joining. Whoever hops on and sees what's going on, that'd be great. I can see the chat, so let me know. But this is an unboxing video of the Cosmere RPG Kickstarter, and I will be focused in on the miniatures. I only ordered the miniatures and the world guide, and I think there might be some other things in here, but this is the Cosmere miniature channel, so we are only going to be focusing on the miniatures. So I'm going to open it up. As you can see, I have not touched it yet, so this would be awesome and kind of funny if this is not actually the box I need, but it's from Dragonsteel. It says it right there. It says Dragonsteel, so I'm assuming it is. Oh, you got your box yesterday. I'm not sure how to pronounce your YouTube name, but I'll say Miss Jism. Yes, I'm excited that they're finally getting out. I got the update that North America, I think, is at 25% fulfillment. So, exciting stuff. Okay, this is fun. Here we go. Okay. So the box is out of the way. Mizzy is fine. Thanks, Mizzy. So it looks like it is just the minis. There's nothing else in the box. I did order the world guide as well. I do wonder if they just sent me the minis a little bit early, because I did ask Brotherwise. I said, hey, I'd love to do an unboxing video of the minis. So they may have just sent me just the minis, which is totally fine. The world guide, I have the PDF, but I'm excited to get the world guide as well. So first of all, here's the nice box that we have. And I'm sorry for the lighting on my face, but that's not the important part. The important part is the minis. Fantastic, fantastic. Anything interesting here? The back, gotta look at the back. So this is a 3D rendering of all the minis in here. If you did back the Kickstarter with the minis, I think you got the STL files included, or you could get the STL files by themselves. I did print out a few of the STL files. They all look great, and the ones I printed off look great. So I'm excited to see the difference between these and the STL files. So as we go through, I'll be sure to do a comparison. All right, that's open. This is open. And while I'm opening this up, I do want to mention that I do feel like this Kickstarter has been a lot better than their first one in terms of shipping. I mean, we all experienced the issues with Easy Ship when they first did it a few years ago with the Stormlight miniatures, so I'm glad they've been much more communicative this time around. All right, so I'll put the box away. I'll open this up. Some individual packages here, which is great. I do like to see that they have a lot more minis in here than in a single box. When in the Stormlight Miniatures Kickstarter, they had 4 individual boxes that were kind of big and large packaging. So I do like to see these minis are kind of more compact. Okay, so let's go through one by one. Make sure I get these things lined up. I'll go through one by one and kind of talk about them, and if I have any comparisons to do, I will do those. So first of all, we have this guy. Let me turn up my lamp. Get more light here. Okay, so I'm having a hard time seeing it myself, but that's okay. I'll put it here, and then I will look at it down here. All right, so this is the, let me make sure I get the names right. Oh, hey, Ambient Arcanus, good to see you. Thanks for providing the music on some of my videos. If those of you who haven't checked out Ambient Arcanus stuff, check it out. He has some good music that you can play while you play the Cosmere RPG. Okay, so the one I'm looking at now is the Skybreaker. I don't want to mess up the name, so I will be referencing the box. So Skybreaker is looking great. Didn't print this guy off through STLs because I was worried about all of the pieces that could break off. So I haven't had experience printing him, but I do like the pose that he's in. It's a very dynamic pose, as you can see here. And something that I'll get out of the way right off the bat is the face detail is missing. This is something that was kind of a problem with the Stormlight miniatures. The faces just didn't come through as well as we would have hoped. We had a few discussions about this on my Discord community, but the general gist of it is that there is a face there, and it's great. If you want to get the eyes, like paint the eyes on, I haven't done that very well in the past before, but it is something you can attempt, and it's just hard to see the eyes on this guy. But I do like this guy's sword. I do wish it was longer, but I think if it got any longer, it would not turn out very well. So if you want to kit bash it, you could totally clip this off, attach a larger sword, or even some kind of spear, turn him into a wind runner if you want. But overall, really nice mini. And I have not read through Stonewalker's campaign. I will not be talking about any spoilers there because I don't know any spoilers. But this guy might be in Stonewalker's campaign. I hear that most of the minis are featured in the Stonewalker's campaign. Okay, next we have the Chol. And in the comments, do let me know if I need to get more details of these minis. I'm trying the best I can with my weird setup that I have. Welcome to a live stream, I guess. The Chol is looking nice. Right off the bat, I do notice that the antenna are totally not there. If you see on the box, maybe you can see it, the antenna are a little bit longer. I will show you my Chol that I have over in my closet. I'll be right back. Show you a comparison of a printed out Chol. So here's my other Stormlight miniatures. I'll put them on my hobby desk so we can compare. Okay, so this is the printed one, STL printed one from the prior Kickstarter, and this is the new one that was put in there. So what we can see is, as I was talking about, the antenna. The antenna on the printed out one show up a lot better than on the packaged one. And this is probably due to the casting process of the plastic. They probably couldn't get that fine of detail that far out, but your STL files, your resin printing, will be able to get those antenna. So if that's something important to you, you do have the STL files if you back the minis, and you can get those. But the antenna are significantly longer on the printed out mini than not. I don't know if you can see that very well, but overall, the details on the prepackaged mini are surprisingly really good. I do really like it. They even have some crustaceans on the legs here, some nice little features on the face. But if you want sharper and more detailed, printed off in resin will get you a better view. Overall, really good Chol. All right, next up we have the white spine. So this white spine is thick. One thing I immediately noticed is that the spikes are not very pokey, but it does have a complete picture of the white spine, and the foreclaws are not split. But I think that was intentional design choice, which is a good idea because the foreclaws are so skinny they wouldn't be able to split very well. Comparing to the STL printed, now of course I just primed this so you won't be able to see it very well, but the STL has very sharp spine, and it's called a white spine, so I expect the spines to be sharp. If you look at it here, the white spines are not as sharp, but it's not as much of a hazard. The STL printed file is kind of sharp and does hurt my fingers when I press down on it, but the prepackaged mini will not hurt you. So that is good to know. But the rest of the details look really good on this prepackaged mini. I really like how that one turned out. Okay, let's jump over here. This is the deepest one. The deepest one is coming out of the ground. Looks very creepy. Whenever I read the books, this is a spoiler for Oathbringer? No, Rhythm of War. When I read about the deepest ones, it's so creepy. Like they can just come out of the stone and grab soldiers as they're going down the spiral staircase. Anyway, crazy stuff. These would be so freaky in combat. So I think they really captured that with how these minis look. By the way, I will be sure to go through and take better pictures of these, or maybe post them somewhere so you guys can get a better look at it, because I know it's not doing it justice on this live stream, but we're doing the best we can. Here's the Axe Hound, and I'll compare it to one that I got printed out. Very similar. I'm pleasantly surprised at how similar these are. The details on the resin print are just a little bit better, but overall, this Axe Hound looks really good. It looks really good. All right, here is who's this, Stonewalker? No. Will Shaper. Will Shaper. So the Will Shaper is a Parshendi. It's looking good. I don't really notice a lot of mold lines on these minis so far. So that is something that's nice. You don't really have to worry about that. You might worry about it on the back of the Skybreaker's cape. But overall, I haven't seen too many mold lines, which is great. You don't have to clean those up. But yeah, I really like this guy. He is cool looking. Okay. Here is the Agent. Yeah, this is the Agent. I just saw someone on my Discord community, I think Amber, just painted this guy up and looks really good. She did a really good job on this mini. But this mini is full of great character and would be a great playable character for your Cosmere RPG group. Again, faces are missing a little bit of detail, but you can make out the eye sockets and the nose and the mouth, which is good. All right, here's the Storm form, and I will compare it to the Storm form that I recently painted. If you've been part of this channel for a while, I just painted the printed out Storm form, or the STL Storm form. Some of the details, like I mentioned on my STL review, the hair on the Storm form up here kind of gets cut off, but you're able to catch it on the STL file with just a little bit more detail. The face is actually pretty good. The detail on the carapace is actually pretty decent as well. I am pleased with the quality of these minis compared to the Starlight minis. I think they took their time and did a little bit of better job in the casting process. But yeah, she looks great. All right, here's the next one. This is the altered one. So the altered one, I actually don't know what they do. I'm not well versed on fused. I apologize. This one does have some more mold lines in the middle piece of it, which is great. It just, I guess, is not great. You have to take care of those. I do also notice some stress marks on the plastic, like right here, and then somewhere else. Oh yeah, right here on the edge of the cape. And so those stress marks, that is usually from when you take clippers and you clip it out of a mold, and then you're gluing it together. So that's something that you can clean up pretty easily by taking the back of an X-Acto blade and just coming through and scraping it off and smoothing it out. Once it's smooth, you can easily paint it over and you won't be able to notice it. If you leave it and you paint over it, it'll be that much harder to hide it because paint will just exaggerate the issue. Something on his hands, they're kind of all clumped together, but you can't really get split out hands at this scale. Something that I will always say is I would have loved to have more heroic scale minis than what we were given here. Heroic scale meaning that they have bigger faces, bigger hands, and bigger weapons. But true scale is okay. All right, here's the next one. This is the, who is this? Devastating one. Looking at the picture from the box, there are a lot of intricate details that are kind of missing from here. There's more subtle hints. But she looks very scary. I'll have to do my research on what devastating ones do. She looks like she'll come and be a part of your nightmares. Pretty awesome. Devastating one. All right, here is the Ardent. No, who are you? Else Collar. The Else Collar. Okay, face is okay. The face is okay. The hands are okay. Yeah, they've lost a little bit of detail down here, but they're as good as we can get here. Really billowy robes that look nice. Maybe some mold lines here on the robes. If you have big, thick pieces of plastic like robes, watch out for mold lines. You can take the same approach as you do with stress marks. It's just kind of scraping off those mold lines, smoothing it out, and then once you paint it, those will be gone. All right, moving right along here. We have the husked one. Yes. Spoilers for Rhythm of War. The husked one really gives Kaladin a run for his money most of that book. And this guy looks like he will. He's devastating. Got some nice spikes, carapace spikes down here. You've got some crazy hair going on. The hair is wrapping around him like a tunic. This guy is pretty beastly. He'll be a great adversary. Yeah. Looking great. Okay, this next one. I see a few people trickling in. Welcome. Thanks for joining me this evening. Do let me know if you have questions or want me to drill into anything. Ambient Arcanist. Having the fused minis is awesome. I wonder if we'll be getting the rest of the 9 types filled in. Yes, I've been hearing rumors about it because from what I understand, we have been introduced to new types of fused, and that's probably why I don't know some of these. Let me kind of line up the fuse that we have. I guess Stormform is not a fused. Not a fused. Husked one. We've got this magnified one. So we have... What? We have 6. 6 fused in this bundle. We talked about the husked one just barely. Here's the deepest one. This is the devastating one. I really should do my homework. I'm sorry, y'all. Altered one. This is the altered one. This is the devastating one. And then this is the shadow form. This actually might not be a fused. Shadow form. I don't know what the shadow forms do. And I'll probably have to read the world guide a little bit closer to look at the adversary profile for this guy. But I've already seen some people starting to paint this person, and there's some really interesting paint ideas out there, because apparently the center thing is supposed to be glowing something, and some kind of gem heart, and then you got the shadows building out behind it. This will be very interesting to paint. Already seen some interesting ones coming out, but I think I'm going to have to do my homework on this one. Ambient Arcanist, thank you for filling in my knowledge gaps. We also have the Leshwi Mini, yes, as the Heavenly one from the previous sets. I think Shadow Form is a type of Regal. Yes, Shadow Form is a Regal, so I miscalculated that one. And the Storm Form is a Regal. So we have 5 fused in this box. And then this is a magnified one. This mini is the one I was most excited about. Hold that in the white spine. And I printed them out in STL files. You can't really see it with the black primer, but the details are almost identical except for the sharpness of the spikes. So everywhere there are spikes, they're rounded, whereas on the resin print, they are very sharp. Very sharp is relative. They're sharp. But the rounded nature of the carapace is okay. It still gives the impression that this is spiked, but it doesn't look as clean and crisp as you can get with the STL print. So if that's something that interests you or is important to you, make sure you print out the STLs with resin. But overall, this guy looks very menacing and intimidating. Love it. Okay, here's our next one. This is the Dustbringer. I mentioned in my STL review that the Dustbringer looked large. So when you compare them side by side with another mini, this is the Storm Form, the Dustbringer is taller. And when I bring up an Alethi soldier, he's just taller than the Alethi soldier. So maybe the way I printed him out, here's the print version, he looked bigger than he actually was. Yeah, so the print that I did is a little bit larger. So you can scale down the STL file if you're printing them out, scale them down if you want them at this size. But yeah, the details on this guy are really good. He can make a really cool character. Mizzy, last I heard about minis is that the designers were shifting to work on Mistborn models, but they do intend to come back to Stormlight eventually. That's a good call out. Thank you, Mizzy, for that. So the Mistborn minis, they haven't announced them or released anything like that with this RPG Kickstarter. But however they come out, I'm very excited to see what they look like to add to the collection. But you're right, we still have gaps in the Stormlight collection in terms of fused and that kind of stuff. I would love to see, I know someone on my Discord mentioned the Heralds, seeing the Heralds as minis. That would be a really awesome set. I think we already have Taln. We have someone else. Or is it just Taln? We might have someone else. Okay, this is the next mini. This is the Bright Lady. So she's just an Alethi lady person. Make sure I get my focus right. Yeah, sorry for the line in here. It's late at night while my kids are in bed. So this is the only time I have time to do hobbies. But she looks great. I really like how they have the detail of the safe hand and her satchel. I could really see me using her in my war games as some kind of scribe or some kind of hero character, utility character. But she can also be used in your RPG as just a person in Alethkar or an Alethi woman. But really fun to see some more character. I am excited to get some Asish people up in here because I'm currently working on an Asish army. Okay, Nail is the other herald we have. Thank you. Yes, I knew I was missing one. We have Taln and Nail. I painted Nail. I can't believe I forgot him. Yeah, he's back there. And no spoilers for Wind and Truth right now. Okay. So here we have the Artifabrian. I know a lot of people are very excited about the Artifabrian, and I've seen some really good paint jobs. Someone on my Discord, I think it was Starlight, he actually won the monthly painting challenge last month by painting the Artifabrian and making this piece glow, some kind of gemstone thing. And that is something that I'm really excited about. Stormlight minis is the object source lighting opportunities that we have with these minis. We have some great opportunities. Artifabrian's one, all the fused with glowing eyes, all the regals with glowing eyes, right? There's some really good object source lighting capabilities here. But Artifabrian is looking great. Okay, here's our next one. This is Zealot. This is the Zealot. I understand he does show up in Stonewalker's campaign somewhere, or maybe there's multiple of them, I don't know. But he does look intimidating. The buckler here kind of morphed into his hand a little bit, so that's a little disappointing. But nothing some solid paint job can help cover up. Yeah, he's coming in to get you. And again, watch the mold lines on the ends of the robes. Okay, here's the last one, and then I'll wrap up. This one is the Edge Dancer. Edge Dancer, so he'll go right along with our friend Lift, right? These are two wonderful Edge Dancers. But he's looking good. I do like the effect they put on the base of him kind of gliding through on the stone, gliding over the stone. It'll be interesting to see how people paint that up. It's an interesting effect. Yeah. Every time I see this, I think of Aladdin. I think he looks like Aladdin. Sue me, but he looks like Aladdin. Okay, so that is all the minis. What I do want to do real quick is do a side-by-side comparison of a few of the Stormlight minis. So I'll bring out some of them. Here's Leshwi. I'll get Dalinar. There's Alethi. Okay. One of the biggest things I wanted to see was the base sizes. And so if I were to look at this Parshendi, get the tracking on, this Parshendi, and compare it to, this is a war form compared to a storm form. And the thing that you'll immediately notice is the base size difference. Okay? The minis in the Cosmere RPG are set to the grid. I think it's 1 inch. I don't have my ruler out here, but I think it's 1 inch. Yes. On my hobby mat, it's a 1 inch box. They fit in there. So the Cosmere minis are built for, obviously, the Cosmere RPG to go on the grid system of their maps, whereas the Stormlight minis, for my opinion, are more of a display pieces. I mean, these are the named characters, and so that makes sense. So if you are like me and you like to put bases on your minis, for the Stormlight minis, getting a 32 millimeter base is what will fit them, and getting the Cosmere RPG minis, getting a 28.5 millimeter base is what you need for these. So that is something to be aware of, is that the base sizes of the regular characters are slightly smaller than the base sizes of the Stormlight minis. I don't know if they're going to go retroactively and fix that. I personally like bigger bases. I think this guy kind of looks weird with such a small base. So does this guy. I like bigger bases, so I might clip these guys off and custom make my own bases when I get to them. But that's just my personal preference. So overall, these minis are fantastic. I'm very excited that we got them. There's a lot of great utility that you can get out of these. Since they're not named characters, you can kind of create your own stories out of them, which is great. I think my next paint job is going to be this magnifying one. I've been thinking about him for a while. I primed up this guy, but now I have two of them. Isn't that great? One thing I will note is that if you want to add variety, if you want more than one magnifying one or something like that, or more than one axe hound or white spine, if you print it out in the STL, you can just flip it, so you mirror it, so then they're facing the different direction and it looks like they're slightly different. So if you need something like that, that is an option. Some things that I would like to see next, obviously the Mistborn minis are coming, but for Stormlight specifically, I would love to see a, what are they called? Magnified ones? Or, not magnified ones. Devastating ones, no. Who are the heavy infantry? Regal. Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting their name. They're in between a war form and a magnified one. I forgot their name. But they're really good. And then I would like to see those. I would like to see some heralds. The full set of heralds would be fantastic. Flesh out the rest of the fused. And then, of course, I would love to see more regular soldiers. Like, we don't have any guards. We don't have any regular soldiers or city guards in this set to add flavor and to add little minor adversaries. I know in the adversaries in the World Guide PDF, they have several of those. But that's neither here nor there. I hope they keep designing and building things, but until then, I will keep making my own. And Miz, you mentioned I want a Thunderclast. Yes, Thunderclast would be fantastic. Let's see. I think that, I mean, they have a lot more details of the Thunderclast in the World Guide, but I mean, this Chasm Fiend is massive. I just wonder how big, and it's not to scale. This Chasm Fiend is not to scale. It should be a little bit bigger, I think, quite a bit bigger maybe. But I would love to see what they do with the Thunderclast. That would be fantastic. I do have plans to make my own one day, but hopefully they create one so I don't have to make it myself. We'll see. Okay, well, thank you for those of you who were able to join me live. I know this was kind of late at night for some of you, or early in the morning. I don't know where my fans are, but thanks for joining. Appreciate your time, and I'm going to get started on painting some of these guys, and I'll keep y'all posted. So like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I will talk to you all later.